Martin, what a shame. I mean, they really did have a tremendous opportunity today, certainly for a podium, as he said, even potentially for a win. The speed of the car, fastest lap for a long, long time, until Malaysia did a real one-lap blitz towards the end there. So very disappointing for John Martin, but I'm sure he'll fight back next time. Well, there have been other stories today as well, of course, and a number of cars didn't make it to the finish. One of those was Team Mexico's Salvador Duran. Sadly, he went out pretty early on in an incident, and we can probably hear more about that now as he speaks to Diana.
Salvador, a pretty tough weekend here in Kyalami.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our worst weekends in the whole history of the team, and it's very frustrating, you know, when you come so far to work and do your best, and just things happen and can't be. I mean, we were quick as well, so it's just unfortunate.
What happened during the feature race?
We had a great start. We were dead last because of the disqualifying in the second for the feature race. We did a great start. We were P15 by that time. We were passing cars, and I tried to overtake Team France. I went inside in turn number 12, and I was already in, and he just turned into me, and we had a small contact, which ended up with my race because I had a puncture. So it's very unlucky because we were quick as well. So that's the only thing that happened.
Well, sorry you're disappointed, but we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. See you.
Only thing he didn't mention there was actually there was a yellow flag at that particular corner, so Nicholas Prost probably wasn't expecting a car to be trying to overtake him. So it didn't really work out for Salvador Duran here this afternoon, but there we go. As Diana said, hopefully better luck next time. Well, as we said, there's been a lot of incidents to think about, and James, I know you're going to talk through what we've been seeing a little bit with me today. We're going to start off with the look at the start of the race, and there was a lot going on here, wasn't there? I was a little afraid at one point when they were 4 abreast that we were going to see a major accident in the first corner.
It could have happened, certainly. I mean, like you see right here, 4 wide, 3 wide in the back. Portugal falling backwards is going to create issues, and then John Martin being pushed off there. Very, very busy first corner. It
was, but at that stage, Adam Carroll for Team Ireland was running well, but it all went wrong when he tried to go around the outside of Malaysia.
Yeah, tough call on this one. Without seeing the onboard from Farouz Fauzi's car, it's going to be tough to see. Adam obviously made a really great inside pass into that corner in the sprint race, and it didn't look like a very sudden turn down to me. It looked like Farouz should have had enough room to maybe back out of it and give him the space he needed. But either way, it was a costly move, regardless of who was at fault for Adam Carroll.
Absolutely right. I mean, look at what the impact has been on the series. I mean, we've seen Ireland really having such a great run, haven't we? And now suddenly they find themselves 3 points behind Team Switzerland.
They are 3 points adrift right now, but with the drops that are included in A1GP this year, Switzerland's actually going to have to drop their lowest scoring event, which right now is at 4 points. So yeah, if you really, and of course Ireland doesn't have to drop anything because of that disaster that was Zandvoort. So if you take that into account, they're still in it. It's not over till it's over.
That's absolutely right, and a very good point with the drop scores. Let's take a look at one of the other incidents. This was New Zealand and Malaysia, unfortunately coming together. Now, how do you read this one?
Well, I mean, obviously you saw Bamber came quite wide, and maybe Farouz thought that he was going to take the inside line, but he came back, and there was still more than a car width on the outside there, and I think Farouz just had a little bit of a momentary brake fade. You can see there was still room on the left-hand side for him to try and move over and maybe avoid him. It's a tough call, but I mean, certainly you saw Farouz at the basis of a lot of incidents today, and that's got to make you think that maybe he wasn't on his game.
Now that happened almost at the same time, Mexico and France. We just heard from Salvador, who said, well, Nicholas shut the door, but actually the yellow flag was out there, so I don't quite understand why that happened. Do you?
Now that's a tough one. I mean, especially without more camera angles, it's tough to see who lays blame there. But you ask any insurance company, it's the guy in the back who takes responsibility.
Absolutely right. Well, just continuing to look back over some of the incidents of what's been going on here today, it certainly was a fairly dramatic race in all sorts of ways. I have to say, felt very, very sorry for Australia and what happened to John Martin. That was a big incident that happened in the pit lane. Just a quick summing up from you, James. We're going to look at the highlights in a moment. A quick sum up from you.
Well, I think for me this was a race about comebacks. You look at Brazil, big qualifying crash into a podium. You look at Lebanon, disastrous weekend, started from the back, came up to another points position. Great Britain, same thing. You saw a lot of great drives from difficult situations from a lot of guys today.
Thanks very much for that. Well, we're going to take a look now in a moment at some of the highlights of this race, and I have an awful lot to look at in this one. Okay, so we started the feature race in pretty good conditions. The weather has been very kind to us as I speak. We may see a little bit of cloud coming in this evening, but the fans turned up from an early hour to make the most of the atmosphere, to make the most of all the stuff that was on sale. There was a great opening ceremony as well, fun and games on the start line, and a lot of support, of course, for Adrian Zaub in the Team South Africa entry. Was he going to be able to come good on home turf? Well, Monaco were looking strong for a great result after their performance in qualifying. A pole position starting place for Team Monaco's Clivio Piccioni, but a number of teams who felt they were slightly out of position on the grid and hoping for good things once the lights went out. The nervousness at the start, and then we saw, as we mentioned, this huge battle going into the first corner. Portugal almost hit by South Africa at the start when the car didn't want to pull away, but it was Ireland that were the first out of the race, and a big drama as the series leaders went out at turn 5 and would score no points at all, and thus lose the lead in the series. Adam Carroll back into the pits trying to explain what had happened, and now the team has to rethink their approach to the next race. Well, meanwhile, there was another great battle going on between Malaysia and New Zealand. New Zealand was holding on to third place, and Earl Bamber was not going to give it up without a fight. Malaysia, though, were determined to get through, and they just got that little too close, running into the back of the Black Beauty. Malaysia seemed to get away with it initially, but as it turned out, they were going to suffer. So that was the end of the race for New Zealand. No points on the board for Earl Bamber in this one, and at the same time, Mexico tried to get past Team France. That put both those cars out of the race as well, so it was an instant-packed part of the feature race. Narain Karthikeyan ran wide for Team India. Thankfully, the car was okay. He would continue. Whether there was any slight damage that affected his performance was hard to tell. And China also went off on the grass. We'd see more of them later, going very, very slowly indeed. So Malaysia at this stage was still in it, but the car obviously wasn't working properly. Faraz Fawzi lost control here. He was soon back into the pits, and the team had to go to work to send him back out much, much later on. Well, this was the key moment from Team Australia's point of view. Just as John Martin tried to get going, the German car came into the pit. The engine stalled, they couldn't get it fired up again, and an almost certain podium finish went right out of the window, and Australia are just going to have to try again. For Switzerland, things were going far better because they had managed to get in front when Monaco had their first pit stop. It took much longer than hoped, and Switzerland were now leading the race, reasonably comfortable from Monaco. Suddenly South Africa's car slowed right down. Nothing Adrian Zaub could do about that, and he was heading back into the pits, and the team were never able to get him back on track again. It was all over for the local hero. For instance, we saw Germany running wide. Michael Ammermuller, he was able to recover from this one and in fact enjoy a pretty good dice towards the end. This was the change for second place. Clivio Piccioni ran wide and Brazil was straight through. The youngster Felipe Guimarães on a comeback after that accident in qualifying and doing superbly well. The final pit stops, Team Monaco in third place, and that's where they would stay. Great Britain holding on for points as they battled with Lebanon in the closing stages, but there was never any doubt about the man up front controlling the pace, controlling the race. It was Neil Yarni. Narain Karthikeyan was on the attack though. A number of times he tried to get past Team Italy. Once or twice, briefly, he did get in front. Unfortunately, he never managed to stay there, but it was an entertaining and fun part of the race to enjoy. He certainly made it good for the spectators on that part of the circuit. Well, as he tried to find a way through, Max Velti kept an eye on the weather. Emerson Fittipaldi knew that Brazil was in a slight trouble with fuel pressure problems, but ultimately there was no change up front. Switzerland came through to take the win. Second place went to Felipe Guimarães, the Brazilian, and Emerson Fittipaldi might have been down on Saturday night, but he looked very, very happy on Sunday afternoon. Yarni, Guimarães and Clivio Piccioni, the top three from the feature race. Two new faces on the podium, with Monaco not only being a new face, but a new nation to take the credit there and the applause for a great third place. Second for Brazil, victory for Neil Yarni of Team Switzerland. They're in top of the points, but it's still close between them and Ireland. It's been a great event at Kyalami.